Hi everyone, it's Erin the Hiking Stitcher. Welcome to Flosstube number 5, where today I'm going to go over what I did in July outside of Frogwarts. My last video was a Frogwarts recap, so I showed you guys all the things I stitched and finished during Frogwarts retreat weekend. But I've done other things in July, so I wanted to do a quick wrap up here. So if you are a new subscriber, thank you, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for joining me in my little corner of YouTube where I like to talk about my cross stitch and my hiking and whatever else comes to mind, or whatever you guys drop in the chat or comments asking me about anything. So today I have some haul, I have some finishes, and I have some whips. So let's jump right into it. So let me start with the haul I've gotten in the last little bit. So one of the things I ordered was I needed to order some gold thread for a project. So I ended up ordering some petite treasure braid in gold. And I ordered some gold Krynic because I started working with Krynic on a piece and I discovered I like it. So that's not much, but it's pretty sparkly and it is going to make my projects look amazing. So then I also got, let's see. So there was a lady on Instagram who was giving away some needle minders. So from Wicked Wish Crafts, thank you. So here's all of her information. She was giving away some needle minders, and so I jumped on it and grabbed a few new needle minders. So the first one is Harry Potter and the Snitch. And then she also sent me Hermione and Snape. I wish I had those before Frogwarts, but that's okay. They are still cute, they're still adorable, and they are going to go into my needle minder collection, as you can see all along here. So I'll set those over there. And then I also got another needle minder. Actually, no, before I forget, I didn't even realize I still had these in the pile. So again, Wicked Witchcrafts, Wicked Wishcrafts, not Wicked Witch. I ordered the needle minders from her, and she sent me these cute little floss drops too. So I actually got a couple of cute little, let me show you the first one here. The first one is the Emperor. And the second one is King of the Wands. So that was a really, really nice surprise considering all I did was order a couple of needle minders from her. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it. And then I ordered another needle minder. So if you saw my Frogwarts recap video, you probably heard the story about how my team caught the snitch one night. And how the prompt was find a needle minder with the snitch, or with snitch on it. Okay, so we were all looking around like crazy for something that looked like this. And then I saw this one online and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. And so I said, yeah, sure, maybe this is it. And it turned out it was the snitch and we won the match. So because of that good luck, I had to order the actual needle minder. So this is from the info. This is from Shelly Can Wear Flare. There's her Instagram and her online store. And I got Snitches Get Stitches. This made me laugh hysterically. So that is actually going in my pile to go to camp this week. So I will take that and actually add that to a few projects. And then because when I order from 123 Stitch, I can't just order floss. I have to order other stuff. And they were having a sale, so I ended up picking up 3 patterns off my wish list. So the first one was a Lizzy Kate pattern, ABC Lessons. So that was one of the projects on my wish list. So eventually I'll get this started. I really, really like this pattern, and I think that this would go well in a classroom. This would go well in any home. I just thought it was a really, really cute pattern. And then I also ordered Dog Lessons for People from Lizzy Kate. So this one I definitely want to stitch up because of my dog, and a lot of these are really, really good life lessons. If we all could be more like a dog, I think the world would be a better place. And then I decided to kind of jump off the deep end a little bit. My friend Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher, has been stitching on Shores of Hawk Run Hollow as her leap year start. And I kept looking at all the Hawk Run Hollows, and I'm like, I'm never going to stitch those, never going to stitch those. And then I saw this piece, and I was like, I might stitch that. So when I saw that it was on sale, I bought myself Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow from Carriage House Sampling. Sorry. This is normally not in my wheelhouse of the types of things I like to stitch, but I am a sucker for a good Christmas pattern that does not have Santa Claus on it. And I like the idea that Nancy's doing is she's taking each of the blocks on her shores and she's dividing it into 4. Because each of these blocks is 92 by 92. And so each block is pretty large on its own. So this whole piece is going to be, I think, 200 and something by 300 something. Pretty big. So I thought that was a good idea. So I said I might do that. So I bought this. I need to get the fabric, and I think I'm going to do the DMC conversion. Because when I priced out the silks today, it would cost me about $300 just for the silks. And that's not counting fabric. That's not counting the silks I'm going to need more than one of. So I'm going to poke around in my stash and see how much of the DMC I can come up with, and then go from there. So this might be a start later on this summer. I don't know. But I'm definitely going to be getting the fabric for it when I go to camp this week. So that is what I have for new things, new haul. So that made me happy because I don't always buy a lot of stuff. Think what to do next. Do my finishes, because I'm normally not a finisher. I'm a serial starter, as we like to say. And in July, Fandom Stitching Central had a finishing event. So I had gotten a lot of projects close to finishes. So I finally just sat down and said, let me take care of it. So the first one I finished was Coco at Luke's from the Black Needle Society. This was a pattern that came in with the Winter and Stars Hollow box, and it also came with the finishing kit to make this into an ornament. So this was a quick and easy stitch. I started this back in May for Mania and knocked this out quite quickly, actually, especially once my friend Liz from Stitch by Liz took the paper pattern and converted it into Pattern Keeper for me, because Pattern Keeper is my friend. So thank you, Liz, for doing that so I could get this cute little finish. So I'd like to try to figure out how to finish, because I can finish crafting. I don't FFO things. I need to learn. So then another one that I finished was something I started. This was my birthday start back in 2018, I think it was. Yeah. So I started this in December of 2018, and I don't remember all the specifics of who it's by, so I will drop that in the video or the description below. But this is called Home for the Holidays. And so this was stitched using the called for DMC. The UR Christmas and Home for the Holidays was done in an over-dye red called Buckeye, and I forget right now off the top of my head who it was. And then the Krynic is in the Mary, and I added the little charm on the Christmas tree. And so this called for some beading. I tried to bead. Didn't work out well. So up here in the under the holly to my jolly, I ended up just doing Krynic. And same thing in Joy, and on the Christmas tree, the same thing. I just ended up using different color Krynics to mimic the beads, because mostly they were like to show off the Christmas lights type thing. So this is done. This is going to get framed up, and it will go in my home this Christmas. So this made me happy to get this finished off. Set that aside right here. And then I also finished, this is one of the Fractal Bookmarks from Cross Stitch Collectibles. This so this actually has a really good story behind it. Actually, which way? I think this was the way it's supposed to go up. So my stitching community in New Orleans, my mother-in-law and a lot of her friends are needle pointers. And so when I went to visit New Orleans for just family and stuff. I'd go hang out with them, and they adopted me as the cross stitcher in. So when I started working on my big fractals, everybody was impressed. And so one lady named Dot, God bless Dot, she lived to be 101 years old. So when I knew her, she was in her 90s. And so she went out and she bought this book with these patterns in it. And she thought she was going to stitch some of these as well. So she started at 90 some odd years old and said, no, not really. So she gave me the book. So I started this pattern probably, say 2017, with the idea that I would finish it and give it to her for her 100th birthday. Well, life got in the way, things like that. I never got it finished before her 100th birthday. And then she did not live long enough to see this finished. And unfortunately, neither did my mother-in-law, who also really, really loved this. So this piece now is finished. I don't know how to finish off bookmarks, so I may just frame this. This is a stitch 2/1 tent stitch on 25 count easy grid. So I may just end up framing this and just sticking this aside, because there is that wonderful story behind that, and every time I see this, I'm going to think of Mom, and I'm going to think of Dot and all the crazy stories that crazy fun that we had in Louisiana for stitching. So that was my fractal bookmark. And then the last thing I finished, I actually finished it off this morning, actually. So I wanted to get it in under the wire for before I went to camp. So this is Frogwarts Year 1 Band Sampler. So this I started the week of Frogwarts Year 1, so in July of 2020. And this was before I realized that Frogwarts was going to be a competitive thing. So I started it and kind of worked through it. And then I worked on all the other Frogwarts years. And so all I had this year was just to finish off the jelly beans, get the wings on the key, and to do the eyelet stitches at the bottom. So this morning I kind of sat down and spent about an hour knocking it out. So now all of my individual band samplers for Frogwarts are now done. So I now have years 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 complete finally. So this is going to go in my pile because I'm not going to get them framed until I have year 6 and year 7 complete. So that way I can buy the frames all at once, because while the matting may be different, the frames are going to be the same. So I wanted to make sure that my framer has the frames when I need them. So this made me happy. This will probably be my last finish for July. But this is one that's been a long time coming. So I'm glad to get this one done. So those were the finishes that I had outside of Frogwarts. So let me set those down here, because I also had quite a few whips. Some of the whips I've shown you, hang on, let me adjust everything here. I've shown you, and some of those I have not shown you. So I'm just going to kind of go through and show you what I've worked on in July. So one of them I keep in this Jane Eyre project bag from Black Needle Society. Jane Eyre is one of my favorite books, and it's a small enough piece to hold everything I need to do my skating penguins. So let me show you skating penguins. I don't know if I have the picture in here. So this is a pattern that I got at a garage sale in 2015. I don't know who the original designer is. It looks like it's like an old 80s kit. But that is, when I bought it, I want to say, like, these first 4 penguins were done already when I bought it, and then it got put in the garage sale. So since then, I have gotten up to here. So this month, I worked on this little guy. And I honestly don't know why, but this pattern, I love the look of it. I love penguins. I love figure skating. But I just don't like working on this. So I do try to force myself to get at least 100, 200 stitches in, or to try to finish up an entire penguin. So I just got to backstitch this guy and finish off this guy, and I'll have 2 more penguins done. And then it'll keep going until eventually this whole thing is done. I may end up just cutting it short and just framing the penguins that I have done rather than trying to get the whole thing done. But we'll see. So this is, I have no idea what count this is, and it comes with the floss that the kit came with, which, there's no DMC. It was just color. So I have no idea the DMC color conversion. I don't know the I don't know. I'm trying to think. Oh, Design Works. So, okay. So it's from Design Works called Penguins on Ice. So there is that. So that was the first thing I worked on. I'll probably keep this handy because I'm going to try to get 100 stitches or so every month on it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Occasionally it goes in the UFO pile, but I don't want to completely just give up on this, simply because I like penguins and I like cross stitch, or I like figure skating and I like cross stitch. So, but that'll go away for another little bit. So then I worked on both the villains and the heroes for Disney. So since I saw you last, I think, let me see where I ended up on my hero. So I ended up getting this lady done on my villains piece. There we go. So I added another villain. And then on my hero piece, I got 2 more done. I think I got another one started since I last showed this piece to you. So let me see here. Yep, so I got, so I finished off Ariel here, and I finished off Aladdin, and I started Rapunzel's long hair over here. But I had most of that done, and then I had to rip it all out because I was like 3 stitches over. So that kind of went into timeout. I'm going to take both of these projects to Camp Black Needle with me and see if I can get at least 1 more hero and 1 more villain done on those. And I'll talk about Camp Black Needle here in a second. So let me put that away. And those are living in my Gilmore Girls project bag from the Black Needle Society, simply because they hold both pieces. Because I know some people like to match the project bag at their needle minders and with their project and theme. I'm like, no, I just do it with whatever fits. Unless I have a project, if I have a project bag that fits the theme, I will. But I'm not going to go ahead and buy a new project bag just because I want one that matches the theme of my piece. And then, because speaking of, I have this project bag from Azkaban Prison from Frogwarts Year 3, and that holds the river from Modern Folk Embroidery. As I said, this is my rainy day project, so every day that it rains, and there's at least some measurable rain in my rain gauge here at home, I try to put at least a full skein of, or not a full skein, but like a full thread length in this. So I think that equals out to about 150, 200 stitches per session. So with the rain that we've actually had, I've gotten most of the bottom border done. I'm still working through it, but I've gotten this bottom border done. So I just have to finish that motif and then start the border. And then I'm going to take what's on the bottom here and I'm going to put it up top here. And then I'll be done with this. So hopefully this will be finished sometime this year. Again, just going to kind of keep it to the side. So anytime we get some rain, I will work through this because that just gives another impetus to get some work done. So hopefully that'll be a finish before the end of the year. Stick that back there. Oh, there goes my cone of doom. One of my many cones of doom. So then I have also been working on Gilmoreisms from Forbidden Fiber Co. This was a stitch along that started in December and went through April, and I'm just now close to being finished. So I'll show you what I've gotten done on it, and then I'll show you the whole thing. So this month I finished all but the last box. So this box I'm hopefully going to finish during camp and take it. So I got through the I Will Always Love You, the Puff Puff Pledge, the Devil Egging of Jess's Car, and the Deer Hitting Me. So those were easy, and the last one down here is something about sleeping with a zucchini. So then I will be done on that, and that is on the Called For fabric from Forbidden Fiber Co. and the Forbidden Fiber Co. flosses. So here is the whole thing that I have. And so this should be done hopefully in the next week or two. And so I'll be able to show you a finish on my my August update Flosstube. Give you a second to see that there. And that lives right now in the Summer and Stars Hollow project bag from the Black Needle Society. This project bag will probably end up holding a summer project when I am done with this, simply because I have a lot of summer projects um, going, and that will get pulled out in August. And then I had one other new start, and then a restart in July. So on the 4th of July, I started 4th of July Rules by Primrose Cottages. This was something I saw from Nashville Needlework Market. I grabbed it, and eventually I want to get all of her other Rules series too. But this is my first one. So when I started it, so I bought this beautiful fabric from Atomic Ranch called Mellow Stone at StitchCon, 18 count Ada. And I said, that's going to be my project for 4th of July Rules. So I started it on the 4th of July because that was my plan. And this is as far as I got. And you notice you cannot see any of the white that's around the 4, that's underneath the 4. And I'm looking at this going, you know, there's a lot of white in the 4th of July, any 4th of July pattern. So I thought about it, and I was like, do I want to continue on? And so I said, well, let me try something else and see how I like it better before I go ahead and commit. So the other night while I was watching the Olympics, I said, oh, let me try this. So I put this one away, and I found some 16 count Black Ada. And so I started stitching on it, and let me tell you, the difference is amazing. So this is how far I've gotten in the last week, and I absolutely love how it's popping on the black. So I'm going to rip out what little bit I've gotten started on here. So here's a side-by-side comparison. So this is on 16 count. This was 18 count, but the color difference is unreal. So I will be continuing on the Black Ada and then using this for something else. And this lives in this adorable project bag from Dot Dot Goose Design. This one I saw at StitchCon, and I did buy to go with this project. So while I say I don't always get project bags to fit projects, sometimes I do. So because I thought the gnomes were adorable. So this was one of my splurge pieces from StitchCon. So stick that back in there. Try to clean up as I go, so that way I don't have to clean this area up later. And then finally, I always work on at least one Heaven and Earth design every month. And so because July was so heavy with Frogwarts and some finishes, I didn't get as much work on any of my Hades as possible, but I did work on Christmas Puppies from Dominic Davison. So let me show you where I really worked. So I've been really working on bringing down this wood. It's not really all that exciting, but I need to get because this same color scheme, sorry, over here, this same color scheme is going to kind of go down here, and then you hit the curtains over here. Sorry, my computer, it's weird. So, but this is where I'm up to so far on it. This is the very first Hade I started back in October of 2019. And so I started doing this in diagonals, and then that worked for a while. But now as I've gotten over and had some more like vertical pieces, so like, you know, the fireplace and the cards and stuff, I've just been trying to stitch where it makes sense, you know, so I don't get any of the lines. So I'm stitching this 2/1 full cross with the called for DMC on 25 count easy grid Lugana even weave. And I absolutely love this. So I've got the Christmas tree, I've got the wreath, and then over here, I'm almost over to the edge. So once I finish up all that more wood paneling, there's going to be another red curtain, and that's the edge of the piece. And then I will move on down. So down at the bottom will be puppies sleeping under the Christmas tree. And I said, and I don't show off my back, but I am impressed with how my back has turned out too. So I finally discovered a stitching style that works for me to keep my backs neat too. Yay. So that is my non-Frogwarts stitching for the month of July. Busy, busy, busy. I think right now, let me look at my stitch count. Um, as of right now, I have 26,000 stitches for the month of July. That is a new record. Some of that are in pieces that I'm not going to show until my August update, simply because I just started them for the Stitch the Summer Olympics. And so for me, I'm just going to kind of wrap all of my Olympic stitching into my August update. So coming up, so I leave tomorrow to go to Kansas City for Camp Black Needle. It'll be my first time going there. So I finally get to see a lot of my stitchy friends in person. And I will be picking up all of the haul that I got from Frogwarts there. So when I get home, I will have a nice long haul video to show you all the stuff I got, because there's going to be freebies, there's going to be whatever they give out in their bags, plus all my Frogwarts stuff. So I am anticipating quite a long bit of haul in my next video update. So I will be there. So camp, I'll get there on Wednesday. We're going to drive out from Virginia to Kansas City. Stop in Lexington to see some friends, and then drive back. So the retreat is from Thursday to Sunday. So we'll leave tomorrow, get there Wednesday night. My stepson and his kids live out there in the area, so my husband's coming with me, so we can all see the family as well. Then we'll leave next Monday and get back here to Virginia on Tuesday. And then that following week, so Thursday the 8th, I bought an ambassador pass for the inaugural North Meets South Needlework Expo in Crystal City, Arlington, Washington, D.C., put on by two cross stitch shops, Stitch New England, and I'm blanking on the name of the other shop from South Carolina. So that one, I don't quite know what to expect. They say it's got a retreat feel, but it's also just like a big needlework expo with vendors and stuff. So I bought the pass, and I'm close enough where I'm just going to kind of drive back and forth rather than try to book a hotel room. And if there's a stitchy room, then I'll go up and hang out. So if you are planning on being there, let me know so I can try to say hi and coordinate at least, a meetup. Because I know a couple of my friends are going to be there, and it'd just be a really cool thing to see. So it's the first time that they've ever done this, so I want to make sure to support them. And then once I get back, really there's no other major travels for the month of August, no other major stitchy events for the month of August. And then I get ready to go to London in September. So that'll be another video. So link, what else? Life updates. Really nothing. Hiking wise, a couple of weeks ago, I hiked Old Rag again. Old Rag is probably one of the most popular hikes on the East Coast, and it just happens to be 30 minutes from my house. So it is always a packed hike. They actually, Shenandoah National Park has finally had to institute a reservation system to hike it from March through November. So when a friend of mine said, hey, my grandkids are in town and we're going to hike Old Rag, I went, sure, because I will never turn down a chance at that mountain, because the mountain makes you work for it. The first 2 miles are just kind of boring uphill, but then as you get closer to the top, it is a long rock scramble. So I'm going to be putting pictures in here to show you guys some of the fun, but it is fun, but you definitely don't want to go alone. You definitely sometimes need a hand to help lift you up over some of those rocks. It certainly is a challenge, but it's well worth it. So then you get to the top, and then there's a false summit. So there were a lot of people hanging out there thinking, oh, we made it to the top. It's gorgeous, 360-degree views, big flat rocks. People were laying out, sunbathing, having picnics. And then I said something like, yeah, well, wait till you get to the actual summit. And they're like, we're not at the actual summit. I'm like, no, this is the false summit. So I sent them off to the actual summit, which was about another mile and a half. And so that was nice to kind of hang out there, and then, just take another trail down. Nothing. Probably the most exciting part of that hike is the rock scramble, and that's why people come from all over the world to hike it. In fact, some of the people that we met, it was their first hike ever. Tip, if you're going to hike, please do not make Old Rag your first hike. I am an experienced hiker, and I did not pack enough water. I did not pack enough supplies. I had a friend that twisted her ankle, and thank God for somebody else who had an ankle brace with her, because it is a difficult hike. If you don't have the right supplies, it could be a dangerous hike. So that's really what I did. So that was my big hike adventure. And other than that, I've just been sitting here stitching and watching the Olympics. Apparently, I completely forgot to show you two projects. I've done this twice now, um, but I wanted to show you two other projects I had been working on, and I would be remiss if I didn't show you these. So the first one I wanted to show you was my progress on Schoolhouse Rock from the Black Needle Society. So this project was a stitch along release back in September of last year, because Laura of the Black Needle Society works at a Title I school in the Kansas City area, and they were just kind of struggling. They had a lot of supplies that they just couldn't afford to get. So Laura had the idea of having the whole school just create an Amazon wish list, and then she sent out the wish list to everybody in the Black Needle Society and said, "Hey, if you buy at least one thing off the wish list and send it to the school, I will send you this pattern." And it is based on Schoolhouse Rock. So this is where I'm at right now. I got the bottom done. I started down here. And so this is on a pretty aqua even weave. I don't have any of the names and everything written down on it, but I am loving stitching on this color, and I cannot wait to stitch on the rest. And then the final piece that I didn't show you was one that I really should have showed you when I pulled out my thread haul. So this is Electric Light Parade mandala from Atomic Tiki Pins. So right now it's not much. I've really got the name and I'm working on the outline. So you have to really kind of zoom in to see the black on black stitching I've got done. But the reason I actually ended up buying the gold thread, the Krynic and or the Petite Treasure braid, is because the words Main Street Electrical Parade are all in DMC metallic. And if you look really, really close, it is shredding like crazy. I mean, you can see the little tail and the R in the parade. So I'm probably gonna rip this out and put the DMC or the Petite Treasure braid or the Krynic in there instead, just to make it a lot more bearable to stitch. This is one I saw the pattern. I love the pattern. Stitching on the pattern has, I'm not a big fan of the black on black, but I'll do it. So I'm looking around to make sure there's nothing else here to show you. Making sure that I didn't forget anything else. Nope, so this time I really am good. So remember, like, subscribe, comment, find me on Instagram, and don't forget to stitch your own stitch. Have a great day.